we going to talk about chocolate pie? No, but we are going to talk about a recipe for creating your cybersecurity bundle. Hi, I'm Jennifer Bleam. I'm the Cybersecurity Sherpa, and I help MSPs and MSSPs learn how to package, price, and sell cybersecurity solutions, typically to small and medium-sized business owners. Don't forget to follow my channel, like this video, and let's get started. Now, creating a cybersecurity stack can be super overwhelming and complicated. And if you ask your peers for advice, you will get a million different definitions or flavors or recipes for building your cybersecurity stack. It can be completely overwhelming, and it takes most people months to get this single piece of the puzzle figured out. Now, when I coach my clients, I give them 3 different approaches to solving this problem. And I want to ask you, how do you eat pie? 1 bite at a time. So what I mean by that is I want you to schedule some time on your calendar so that you can figure out this first step. You can't go out and sell cybersecurity if you don't know what the bundle is that you are selling. So point number 1, I want you to use a framework. Now, whether that is the NIST framework or if you use the more simple before, during, and after a threat, I want you to think through those categories and how you are going to deliver protection and mitigate risk inside of each of those categories. So for example, if we're going to use the NIST framework, how are you going to identify devices that are on the network? How are you going to identify the risks? And how are you going to identify what kinds of data is important to that particular client? How will you protect those machines and the users? How will you detect when those other layers did not work? How will you then respond and recover? And so those are kind of a flow chart, if you will. You will sometimes see the NIST framework presented as a cycle because it starts all over again once you have detected and responded to a threat. Then you need to identify what happened, what went wrong, learn from it, potentially change policies around so that you can protect your clients better and the cycle starts all over again. And it is not unusual if you have a lot of solutions or a lot of tools underneath that protect layer. That is very normal. So that is point number 1, use a framework, whether it's the NIST framework or another framework that you like to use, or if you simply want to make it super simple and say before, during, and after a threat, how am I going to protect my clients? Point number 2, I tell every one of my clients that it will never be perfect. If you wait for it to be perfect before you launch, you will never launch. And so understand and accept the fact that, of course, I want you to provide a solid protection. I don't want you to throw something together half-heartedly, but done is better than perfect. And so do the best that you can today. And when you think it's 80 or 90% done, call that done. Perhaps call in a favor with a friend, a colleague, a vendor, ask them to give you feedback and vet your solution. And then what I want you to do is set a calendar appointment for a year from now, 365 days from the day you think your plan is pretty much as perfect as you can make it today, and then launch. So you create that plan, you make it good enough, you do right by your clients, you do right by your prospects. I want you to be able to sleep at night, but understand that in a year, you will have to redo some things. In a year, threats will have changed, tools will have changed, clients will have changed. And so things will need to adapt. You will have to evolve. You will have to change your plan. But that's a year from now. Today, I want it good enough to give solid, great protection. A good rule of thumb is, would you deploy this to your mom or to your grandmother and be able to sleep at night? If the answer is yes, then that is good. That is a solid plan. And point number 3, I want to talk about the pie again. You know, when I am going through the freezer section and I am looking for dessert, there are times that I look for ingredients, but I'm pretty busy. What I really love to find is a ready to eat dessert. And so remember that in your sales process. I don't want you to sell the ingredients. I want you to sell the entire package. And so you've put together a bundle. So think of that as the pieces of the pie. You've put together a bundle. There may be times where you dismantle it. That'll be a topic for another video. But most of the time, you are going to take that bundle, you are going to sell the value of that bundle, and you are going to deploy the bundle. Now, when you sell that bundle, please sell it profitably. That means that you take your endpoint detection and response tool that costs you $4 or $5, you mark that up to 15, that becomes a piece of your pie, a piece of your puzzle. You take maybe you have a employee awareness that costs you $4. Take that, mark it up to 8, and put it into your pie. And so I want you to take the pieces of the pie, but don't sell the pieces. Sell the whole pie, and please, 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 please sell it profitably. So those are the 3 pieces of advice that I give to my private clients when I'm coaching them on how to create that cybersecurity stack. The first thing is we use a framework. Typically, I use the NIST framework. You can use something as simple as before, during, and after, and make your plan built around that framework. That's number 1. Number 2, make sure that you aren't paralyzing yourself with indecision. Make sure that you are accepting that a solid plan is good enough today, and a good trick to get around that is to set an alarm or a calendar invitation for a year from now, so that you'll go back and reevaluate and tweak and adjust and upgrade as needed. And point number 3 is to sell the pie. Now that you have created the entire bundle, sell the bundle. Nobody wants to buy ingredients. Everybody wants the convenience of buying the pie. So sell the pie. And please, if you don't hear anything else that I say, hear this. Please sell it profitably. That's it for now. I'll be back soon with another hints, tips, and tricks video to help you out with your cybersecurity launch.